afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge talk show, where truth matters. We're going to have some fun today, though. We're going to be talking about the kitchen. One thing I wanted to talk to you is about this kitchen island film made, and it's out of resources here on the farm. This is a farm my grandparents used to own, and they were married for 67 years when my granddad passed away. Now, my granddad bought the farm here in North Alabama. Back in 1939, I think it was, and paid $5,000 for it. Had it paid off in 2 years. He set himself a goal. So there's a lot I learned from both my granddads. They were businessmen, and not only owned the farm, he also only had a sixth grade education and wound up working for the USDA. And just remarkable, all the things he accomplished. You couldn't do that in today's time. You've got to have, in most cases, at least a 2-year degree. But anyway, he did really well for himself and for my grandparents and making a living here. But I wanted to show you something Phil put together. My husband, by the way, is pretty remarkable as well. So he made a kitchen island for me. We had done some upgrades on the kitchen, and it was stark white, had old wood in it. So Phil painted the walls, or the cabinets, white on top. And it's kind of it's a real pretty, kind of a bluish grayish looking color. It's like one of my favorite colors. And so he painted the bottom cabinets that had some countertops. And by the way, these cabinets are awesome. I mean, you can't buy them like that anymore. They are just really good cabinets. My Uncle Ernest made those like years ago, and we've laughed and said, you know, if a tornado blew the house down, the cabinets would still be standing and probably hold the house up. So that they're really remarkable. So anyway, he did that. Then I said, you know, I got to have a kitchen island. And so I designed it. He thought I was crazy, but I went on ahead and designed it. And then Phil built it and put it together. Everybody who comes over here loves it. So I kept looking at it, and it needed something else. He used wood from the barn, and then tin he found outside had a really pretty patina on it. And I'm all into that. I designed jewelry the same way. And so I designed this beautiful, it's just gorgeous. But I want to show you the process of using resin. And I put this, I was going to do just the tin, and then I decided to go on ahead and do some of the wood as well. So let's just see what you think about this. Okay, so everybody knows Phil and I are pretty much well into artwork. And this is the kitchen island he made for me. And I'm just so in love with it. I think it's gorgeous. So this is a piece of tin. It was probably either on the roof of the barn or something may have fallen off. But anyway, I just love this on right here on the outside part of the kitchen island. You'll see all that beautiful texture there, all the patina, and just years and years of art that was actually being made by the elements. So he said he was going to build me a kitchen island, and then he also used some rough wood from the barn. That's what this right here is. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to let you see what it looks like first. Of course, we know we've got the electricity to it, and there's no apron right there. There's my pot holder. And then he also built some shelves for me, which, all of our, or most of our supplies and things that we have, here for the kitchen, and, some beans and dried products and stuff like that I've done, teas, and, just all kinds of stuff here. And then, of course, trash can here. And then he went on ahead and put some hooks on here for me. So, I've got my pot holders and everything is intact. When we cook out, we just go ahead and just grab, the spatulas and all those things. So what I want to do, I can see it really well, but I've used a lot of two-part epoxy. And I think when I get that two-part epoxy and put that on here, I think that's going to make it look even deeper and even better. So you're getting a real good look at before. And I'm going to go ahead and get in there in my office and put together the two-part epoxy. And then we're just going to see how this thing turns out. I think it's going to be gorgeous. Oh, and by the way, he put a countertop on here for me too. And so I really, really like the looks of that. Okay, I'm going to be right back in just a few minutes and we'll get started with step 2 of the video. So I love it. So let's go into the next video. It's another short one, and I'm going to show you what you do to get prepared to use the two-part resin. And I would only use two-part, by the way. Anyway, we'll be back in just a second. Okay, so we're just about to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to use two-part resin. And I wanted to show you what I use. And it's really important you put this together right. I really do like this brand. I've used several brands, but I like this one because it kind of hardens. Not so fast, but it's in a good way. When it's hardened, it's hardened. It does a great job. So there's a part A and a part B. I like to pour in, this is the resin right here, okay? And it's really thick, and this is the hardener right here. So the way I found it, I don't know, it's easier to do. You've got to mix it well. If you don't mix it well, it's just really not going to turn out good at all. I like to pour, and it's got to be identical. Okay, so if I'm using, say, half cup of part A, I've got to use half cup of part B. And it's got to be exact. Oh, put on good gloves, by the way. So what I'll do is pour the part B into the cup first because it is thinner. And then I'll measure it up and I'll put in, say, the half cup of resin, which is very, very thick. But again, it's really easy to mix if you'll do it that way. Otherwise, it's a little bit difficult, a little bit hard to do. So I'll go ahead and angle the camera down so you can kind of see what I'm working with. So you got to stir this really good. Again, it's got to be mixed correctly, okay? And I like to use, this is made out of silicone. And I really like this because like if you have any hardened parts on it, it comes off really easy. I like the silicone part. Okay, so I've been mixing this for a good 5 minutes or so, and it's ready to go. And I don't feel anything hardened in it. Now, I like to have a good protected area as well. So, I've got my, right down here, you can see the plastic I've got down here. And I like to mix just with a little plastic spoon or whatever that I can just throw away. And so I've got a piece of paper right here that's with me as well. So what I'm going to do, again, as you can see how it looks right now, I'm going to get my paintbrush and we're going ahead and get started. But before we do that, looks like I'm going to have to change the battery. I'll be right back in just a minute. Now, the next video is a very short one, somewhere around 5 minutes or so, and I'm going to show you the application. Once we've got everything mixed, and I would only use two-part, by the way, especially if you're using it on anything to do with furniture or anything like that. So let's take a quick look. Okay, so I've changed out the battery, and we are ready to get back to work. Now, this brush I'm using right here is very soft. Now remember, when you start brushing anything with resin, it's never coming out. Okay, so but get a good one. You don't have to spend a lot of money on one, but I like the soft bristles that are included with it. We're going to get started up here at the top part, and I'm doing this because I want to see if it starts dripping in any kind of way. And I've cleaned it off, by the way, so if it has any dust or anything like that on it, that's all gone. It's got to be a good clean surface, as clean as it can possibly be. With tin that's set outside at your farm. So here's a little place right here. Looks like I missed that part, so let me get that off. Alright, now I'm going to dip into the brush right here, and I hope you can see. I'm going to it's kind of hard to, by the way, use a thin layer of this, okay? And let me go ahead and put this down. I'm not going to hold that and do that at the same time. And it's already beginning to take a good look. Okay, so I'm getting under, I'm trying not to get any on the wood part right here. Okay, so I'm going here at the top and I'm going under. And it's just a nice, clean, even layer. Don't put a thick layer of this stuff on here. It's better to do the thin layer. Get just a little bit up here on this. And I try to just mix up enough of the resin that I know I'm going to use. I don't want to do too much because this stuff, I don't want to throw it away. And so I've got some more projects that are just sitting out there waiting in case I have a lot of this left over. But just, a small amount as possible is what you're going to do. You don't want to waste this stuff. And again, a really, really thin layer. Okay, so I'm going to pick this up and I think I can use one hand and paint at the same time. I'm not going to make you sit here and watch me do the whole thing. I just want you to get the technique of it. again, I'm going right here. Now you can put painter's tape. I paint all the time, so I should be a professional painter. But I'm using such a thin like brush that I'm not even going to mess with the painter's tape. And so I'm going down here in the corner, and then I'm lifting up. Now you want the same strokes, brush strokes. Here I'm going to dip just a little bit so you can see what I'm doing there. Just a little bit at a time. I don't want to overload it. And I'm going to go up. See how I'm going down this way. This is probably not the most scientific. It's probably painters watching me right now screaming at me. But this is what works for me. And again, this had once, I think, been painted, but it had been outside in the elements. I don't know, a bad storm had probably come through, who knows. And this wound up being at the back of the barn. Now, what I want you to see, and again, I'm not going to like bore you to death with this whole thing. I'll let you see the finished product when I get through with it. So, see where this real pretty patina is? Look what that instantly does to it. It gives it this beautiful 3D look. And you know, I make jewelry out of, you know, patina and, you know, copper and just all kinds of metals and stuff like that. So I've been working with that. And when Phil built this for me, I said, you know what we got to do? I'm going to have to put resin, a thin layer of resin on this beautiful piece that you made. And I can already see the difference. Now, again, I'm going back over it again. I just want to make sure that there are no, I don't want any runs to show on it. See what I mean? It didn't take me long to do that part. I mean, this is, and I'm sitting here talking to you. I would have probably had half of it done by now if I hadn't been doing that, but I like talking to you. Now you can see the difference between the two. See how that shine just kind of gives it this 3D effect. Alright, look, now you got to watch me do this part. So let's go ahead, we're going to dip again into the resin. Again, not a thick amount, okay? And let's just see what happens when I go here. And I paint this part. Oh man, this is going to be a showstopper. People come over here for Thanksgiving, they are going to be just like going nuts over this. I love it. I just love the way it looks. I don't think it's going to take but one coat. It's just really not going to be that much. It's really pretty, and it also matches with the, and I didn't even intend for this to happen, didn't know I was doing it. But this is the very same color. And look, Phil painted my kitchen cabinets. I've left the top part up here white, but it really closely, it looks good against these cabinets. I mean, it's right there in that color family. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and finish this thing up, and then I'll let you see the finished product. Thanks for watching. Okay, so one more. I'm going to show you the finished product. It didn't take that long to do. I promise you, I was just talking to you and telling you how I do things. So once you get into the groove at it and you just start just going at it, it doesn't take too long at all. So let's go ahead and look at the last video. Okay, so here's the finished product. I was already in love with this kitchen island, but this just, I mean, this really looks good. So you can see how it looks. It's kind of shiny, and I don't know if the camera is going to show this as well as this 3D effect that came in. And another thing, I went on ahead and put the resin on the wood as well. So that's the old barn wood that is on the barn here at the farm. The grandparents owned this farm years and years and years ago, and then Phil and I bought it when we came back from Charlotte, North Carolina. But you can see how this is just art. And this is God's artwork right here. It is absolutely stunning. So I'm going to go ahead and you got to make sure now that you have like no drips. And so I did look at that. There are no drips. But it's just the resin. It just really accentuates everything. And I just think it looks good. And I appreciate my husband for building this for me. Phil did an awesome job. Wow, look at that. The resin completed it. Okay, just wanted you to get a good look at it. And again, this is just old barn wood that was out here on the farm. And an old piece of tin that had apparently been on one of the barns or one of the buildings out as well. But thank you so much for watching. I love the way it turned out. I absolutely love it. Let's go into a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about 10 cheap and cheerful ways to update your kitchen. This will be a really good one, too. I'll be right back. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonesmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers. The only place I buy my beef is Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama. Their cattle is born and raised on their ranch, grass and grain fed, and you can feel confident when you serve your family and friends because their beef is all natural and no antibiotics or hormones are added. You can buy whole beef or perhaps go in with family or friends and buy half. Their customer service is number one as they take care of the delivery to their local processor and can deliver to your home for a small added fee. They also offer herd replacement heifers. I always call Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama for my beef specialty recipes and cookouts, and you can too. Food shortages are increasing, so buy local by calling 256-523-6462. That's 256-523-6462. Okay, we're back. My name is Donna, and I am your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. We're going to have the last segment right here. We're going to be talking about 10 cheap and cheerful ways to update your kitchen. You don't have to spend a ton of money. I'm just telling you. One way, and I kind of went through this thing about wallpaper, but take a look at that. I really like that. I would like to have I have the Blue Willow dishes. And I think Blue Willow would be awesome. If I could find the Blue Willow wallpaper, I would put that up in part of this kitchen as well. I think that's gorgeous. But just wallpaper it just does something. And she brings in a pattern, like you could do a vintage rug like they did right there. But that floral wallpaper just really adds a whole lot of personality. You do both of them at the same time if you wanted to do that. But I just think that is absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely. Now I've got another one for you, and this is by Hanging Floating Shelves. I think that looks good too. The only thing is I make such a mess in the kitchen. And when I'm putting my dishes up and that kind of thing, I kind of like having doors, that kind of take away that. But anyway, you could use more storage and stack up dishes, glasses, even some artwork. If you're a painter or if you make things, go ahead and put that up there as well. Okay, so let's talk about the third one, and that's add color using stools. I think that's pretty cute right there too. And this has been kind of a fad, and I thought it was a fad, but this has been going on for probably a couple of decades now, where you just have like different color dishes, different color stools, different color chairs, different color whatever on there. And I think that's another good way too. And it's not going to cost you a whole lot of money to do that. And I love this one. And it's use plates as wall decor. I think that's an awesome way right there too, that you can decorate and just to make the most of it. And if you go to Shepherd's Cove Thrift Shop, they always have a lot of plates and things like that. I've even put plates and cups together and made yard art out of it. I've got some videos from several months ago I did that. So what you'll do, they're like 50 cents or $1 or something like that a piece, and it's beautiful. So you get it. I just used the little saucer plates. I didn't get like a big plate and do it. So just little saucer plates and just a little matching cup. Put some resin in it if you want to do that. That's what I did. I put some resin in it and added some flowers and stuff. And you can do like glitter and just all kinds of stuff. And I think that's really pretty. I like the way that turns out. But I'm going to look this time, I think, for some bigger plates. And check on doing that for yard art as well. So we'll just kind of see what happens from that. But I think the plates are a good idea. It just adds a really cute feel to it. Hang pendant lights. Now, I did that. In the kitchen, there's a divider that goes from the kitchen into Phil's office. This is where he produces the show and the videos and all those things. But I think that's a good idea. I did put one up there. So think of them as jewelry for your kitchen. I think that's an excellent idea. I just think it's pretty. Another thing you can do is get these. You can go to yard sales and on thrift shops like Shepherd's Cove Thrift Shop, and you can find these old shades. People just threw them away or whatever, but you can find those things, paint them, turn them upside down, run a light through it, and I think that would look good too. Just use your imagination. You've got an imagination. Go monochrome. Let's take a look at this. That's growing on me. Now the first time I saw that done, I'm like, that's too much of one color. But you can use accessories like this person used right here. See how they used flowers? And I think those flowers are they're gorgeous that way. I think that turned out really good. I like that old farm sink right there too. Put a chair, just bring lemons, anything that's a bright color to make it look good. And look up there above the sink, see the light up there? I think that's really pretty the way that turned out as well. But go monochrome. Nothing changes a room like a paint job. We know that. Teal wall coloring walls and cabinets. And there's no need to. Teal does everything. It kind of makes me think of like turquoise jewelry and that kind of thing. Okay, let's look at the next one. And this one is a good idea too. Bring in an inexpensive dining table or build one. Phil has done that for me too. So you can build your own if you want to do that. See, it kind of breaks up. This looks like this looks kind of like an executive kitchen kind of. I guess because of the cherry wood or the black that they have painted on there as well. But the little table and chairs they had over there to the side, I think that brings a little bit of something to it as well. I think it looks really good. But there are all kinds of things you can do very inexpensively. Show off your goods. That's another one. Let's take a look right here. Okay, if you got glassware, do you collect Coca-Cola stuff or maybe Alabama Auburn or whatever your favorite sports team is? If you collect stuff like that, or if you have antiques like your grandmother's old bowl that she used to mix bread in or whatever, those things are really, really neat. And this is another thing. We have to use our imagination here because there were windows and doors, like way too many windows and doors and stuff. So Phil, out of a big window, took the window out, and this is when we added on my studio. We didn't need the window. So this was a window. The studio where I'm at right now was a carport many moons ago. And so this is now my studio. And so there's, like I said, this huge window. And so Phil cut out the window and then put a backing to it and made bookshelves. And I mean, there are so many things you can do to decorate. Don't cost a whole lot of money, takes a little bit of your time. And you may find somebody they're tearing down a barn or they're tearing down an old house or something, and you just might find somebody who'll let you have some things that you can use and make picture frames or just do all kinds of stuff with it. Set up snack drawers. I think this is a good idea too. And when we looked at that, I think that's a grand idea. If nothing else, just put flowers in. I love sunflowers. But look at this. So this is a cabinet that somebody got. It has low drawers, which is kind of good. You can use baskets. And also the things that your kids can reach maybe after school so they can come by and get some snacks. Now make sure it's the good stuff, apples, oranges, and maybe, your own homemade granola bars and that kind of thing. Something good for kids to snack on. But that's a great idea. Maybe you find something at a yard sale and maybe the drawers just don't look that good. And what you can do is just take them apart and paint around it, do a whitewash or whatever you might want to do. Take the drawers off and just put baskets in there. And there's something about baskets. I just think it looks good. And then you look at the top above the drawers, you can see where they looks like almost part of a barn door or something. And they've made it where it slides back and forth so you can see the canned goods and showing, oh man, that's a lot of hard work to can. It really is. So put those in really pretty jars, any of your canning, your tomatoes especially. And if you dehydrate tomatoes, they're really pretty in jars. Beans that you get from the garden, dry them and put those in jars. It just all turns out for the great. So I want to tell you about another one, and this is how to enhance your appliances. So let's look at this one. Let's think about this for a minute. Okay, so you can recolor your appliances with vinyl. So that color right there kind of makes me think of the 1950s. I love that. So maybe you've moved several times and maybe there's some dents or some scratches or something on your refrigerator or on your stove or your dishwasher. Vinyl works. And that is beautiful. And there's all kinds of videos that you can look at, like stainless steel, how to change stainless steel. I'm going to see if I can make this picture just a little bit bigger so you can see what I'm talking about. I just love, look at that. Okay, I can think I can do it this way. So see how that stove turned out? That's pretty, and that's vinyl. And the neat thing about vinyl is if you change your mind about colors, guess what? Take it off, redo it, and then you'll, different colors. You decide red's your thing, or dark blue, or brown, or heaven forbid you decide you want to go with avocado green like they did in the 1970s. At least this way you can change it up. Thank you so much for watching the show. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. You can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, and Abundant Television found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Hope you had fun. Let's be creative together.